Good evening, scissor-wielding friends and strangers. This is Sarah from Pegasus Paper Co., and I'm here tonight with a little, mostly very easy craft project for you. This is part of the Big Bite Challenge, which is something that anyone can join at any time. If you just search Facebook for Junk Journaling for Everyone, that's our Facebook group, and there's a really great challenge there that walks you through 12 different weeks of amazing junk journal ephemera creation, and all of the different admins and mods have come together to create video tutorials for each week. And this week we are going to be creating a little mini ephemera cabinet for your junk journals. As you can see, this little cabinet has a special kind of fold pockets, and you can put all sorts of little things for your journals in there. You can put mini envelopes and stickers, whatever your heart likes. Anyway, you get the idea. We're going to make this beautiful little storage unit for your junk journals. Now, I wanted to do something that would be accessible for people who do and don't have printers. So if you do have the ability to print things out, I'm going to put a link below the video where you can get the free printables for this whole project. And there are a couple of different choices for cabinet. So if this one isn't your taste, there's a more mid-century modern one that I'm gonna do for the tutorial, which you'll see in a second. And you can just print everything out and craft along with me. But if you don't have a printer, it doesn't really matter because this is a pretty easy tutorial. It just requires rectangular and triangular pieces of random papers. So gather whatever you've got at hand and you can always decorate it afterwards. It's the shapes that matter. All right, so to get us started, I've printed out this picture. There are two of them. One's going to be the back and one's going to be the front. Now this little cabinet here, I've pre-cut so you don't have to torturously watch me slicing through. So what I've done, and I'll just show you my technique in case you're new to this, I've lined up my ruler along the edge of the cabinets, and I've used my trusty X-Acto to cut just along the side of each of the four cabinets. And this side, same thing, one here, one here, one here, one here. And I've cut just along the top of each cabinet as well. Now what that's done is it's left only the bottom attached. So I'll get rid of the underneath one so it's not confusing to look at. So now I have each of these four cabinets cut around all edges except the bottom. So I'm going to fold them back. I'm going to place my ruler along the bottom edge exactly where I want it to fold. And I'll just pull it back over and give it a nice crease. And I'm going to do that for each one. Now, if you have the printable that I'm linking to for free in the bottom, you can do this with the exact same cabinet I'm using and it won't be confusing at all. If you're making your own papers or just using whatever you have at hand, all you need really is a rectangle, and the dimensions of this part really don't matter. You just make it whatever size will fit inside your journal and everything will be just fine. This is not a very exacting sort of project, so any mistakes you make are pretty easy to fix, and there's really no such thing as mistakes and stuff like that. Okay, so now I've got each of these little cabinets folded up. So all we need to do is create little pockets that are going to go inside. Now, if you've got my free printable from the link below, you'll have a few of these different options. I've got a map of old New York. I've got a seafaring map of all the ports of Europe from hundreds of years ago. I've got some sort of alchemical thing with a beautiful tree, more alchemical paintings. There are a bunch of these different little options for you, but if you are using your own papers, it's pretty simple to make these. So the way that I got this dimension, it's really easy. You're gonna laugh at how simple this is. You just take whatever paper you wanna use, you put the pattern side down, and put it under your drawers, and you're just gonna trace out this rectangle here. And these are exactly twice that size, right? So your rectangles will be twice the size of the cabinet. And then here are the triangles at the end. It's just a right angle. So you've got a rectangle that's twice the size of your cabinet, meaning the flap and the opening adds up to the total size of this rectangle. And then you've got one triangle here with the perfect right angle, and one triangle on the side of it with a perfect right angle. That's all you need. So whatever dimensions you're using for your cabinet, it's just fine. Now, if you've got the printables or your own paper and it's all ready, you're going to need 4 of these, one for each drawer. I'll put this aside for a moment. This is the only tricky part of the whole project, but I'm going to do it all 4 times so you can see exactly what's going on. So I'm going to take one of my drawer interiors here, and I'm just going to fold it exactly in half the long way. The exactly part doesn't matter so much because you can always trim the extras. Okay, so I've got one fold across the long way. So this is going to be the part that glues to the front of the drawer, front inside, and this will be the part that glues to the back inside of the drawer because we're just making pockets here so you can store your ephemera, right? Okay, so I've got the long fold. Now I'm just going to take this, maybe it'll be easier to see with a ruler. I'm using the ruler edge to find my little triangle here, and I'm just going to perfectly fold along that triangle. I'll do the same thing over here. Find your triangle and just fold it in. There you go. Nice and easy. That part was easy, right? Okay, now here's the trick of it. Because we want to create, I'll remind you what we're doing here. We want to create this thing we have where you see this intricate little fold that we've got going on here. We're going to create that. Okay, so far we've got this, right? But we want to make that neat little accordion thing I've got going on. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this pointy bit here and I'm going to line it up. Let's see how I can get this visible. Okay, so I'm pinching the point, right? And then I'm just lining it up here, the back corner, and I'm pulling the front closed and I'm creasing it. And now I've got my little accordion. Let's look at that again. All right. I'm pinching this little triangle. I'm lining the top up here with the back. And I'm bringing this one forward as well. Now I've just got this flat rectangle, flattish. Now if yours is sticking out on the end like mine, really easy to fix. You just kind of realign it, push it down, make sure it's where you want, and just recrease. No big deal. Got it? Okay, let's do it again. That was a little tricky. All right, I'll put that aside. Let's do the next shelf. So we start lengthwise, fold in half, right? Got our long fold. Now we'll do our triangle edges, bring them in. One side and our other triangle here. It's hard to see against this pattern, isn't it? All right, there's the triangle. Great. So now I've got this little thing. I'm gonna just double check that my drawer is looking good. Lovely. And now the bit with the points. So we've got our shape here ready. I'm gonna pinch this triangle bit. Oh, sorry, I've done it backwards. See, it is tricky. Okay, we're gonna do it like this. And we'll bring it in here. And same thing. Here. A little tricky. Okay, let's try it again. We'll pinch. We'll bring, sometimes it also helps if you pinch the bottom, if it's not well creased like mine is not well creased. Okay, so you've got this little flappy thing here. I'm gonna bring it up, right? And another one. There we go. Okay, let's do the next two. You only need 4 of these, it won't take too long. Oh, this paper is easier. Okay, so I've printed on 2 different papers and I found that the heavier weight, the 160 GSM, is much easier to fold for this. So if you have heavier paper, that's awesome. You can of course use any paper you like for this, but the heavier is just a little simpler. Okay, so we've got our little drawer. Make sure it closes nicely. Then we'll pull out our triangles. And let's do the pinching method that we tried. We're going to pinch here, make sure it's a nice crease, and then just bring it to the back. Hold this. All right, let's look at that again. Pinch. To line up with the back. Line up this part, and we're folded. Now let's do the other side. I'm going to pinch the crease, push it in, and there we go. It's getting easier, right? The more you do it, the easier it gets. Okay, now last drawer. One more time. Let's do a little fold. This is a nice map of New York, where I used to live. And New York City. Fold in the triangles. One more. And do a little half fold. Make sure it all closes nicely. Yep, lovely. And now the tricky bit again, you think we've got it easy this time? Let's find out. I'm going to pinch here and bring it to line up with the, ooh, it jumped, but it is easier. Okay, I'll bring it to line up with the back. And same thing here. Nice, that one was easier. So what I've done, I've pinched the point together and I just line it up with the back corner here so that all the little triangles are in a row. Same thing on the other side, it's our last one. Pinch and line it up with the back. And there we go, nice and closed. Great, okay. So now I've got my 4 drawers. I've got this lovely little cabinet here, and we're ready to attach everything. Now you might be wondering why I didn't cut the cabinet out properly, and that's because I like to have the extra and cut it at the end so that it's just less fussy with the gluing, because I am a big mess. I'm the kind of person that goes into an art studio and comes out covered in paint. So I just like to be a little bit more cautious with the glue. Okay, so I've got the second one of these, and I'm just gonna use this as a back so that I have a nice little matching color around the edges if I don't line up my drawers perfectly, because I like to plan for imperfection. Okay, so we're gonna attach these. Now, if you're a mess with the glue like me, what you might wanna do is just have some blank strips of paper that you can get messy for protecting your areas that you don't want glue on, okay? So I'm gonna just put one of these under each drawer, like this, just so I don't glue them down by mistake during this stage. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay, now I'm gonna flip this over, make sure they're all still aligned. Don't mind the pattern, you probably won't have pattern on your messy papers. Okay, now you just take any old glue stick and we're just gonna glue along the edges so we can attach this. Okay, this is probably easier with double-sided tape, but I'm being lazy. All right, now we'll take this back unit and I'm just gonna line it up approximately, doesn't really matter, it won't be that visible, and I'm gonna press it down. Now if you have another clean paper with no glue on it, you can just take a little roller or a rolling pin or a book, a credit card, anything, and just smooth that out. Make sure everything is flat, right? Okay, and then we're gonna take that clean paper away and we'll remove our little glue protectors so that they don't get stuck on, which is something I love doing by mistake. Just get everything stuck. Oh, looks like that one slipped out. No, it's good. All right. And we'll take that one out. It's very deceptive with the drawers behind the drawers. This is an extremely meta craft project. Okay, because it's also going inside of a book. A little glue there, no big deal. There we go. All right. supposed to be a vintage themed journal, what we're working on for this challenge. So it's completely fine if you make a big mess and have glue all over everything like I always do. No problem. Okay, so now you've got your little drawers and all you need are the pockets inside of them and then we're good. So I'm gonna figure out where I want my little pockets. Now we're gonna do a very similar gluing thing with those little strips to protect it. So I like to glue it first to the flap because then if I've made anything too long, I can snip off the edges before attaching it to the back. Okay, so once again, let's just take a little piece of paper to protect our project. Okay, and we'll glue one side of your drawer, doesn't matter which side, it's just any paper you like. Now you can use this project on anything if you have paper bags, wrapping paper. It really works with any paper at all. It doesn't really matter what you're doing it with. Okay, so I'm gonna put that there. I've got a big glue mess I see. Move that out of the way. Okay, and one more time I'm just gonna roll over it with the brayer to get it nice and flat with no wrinkles. And I've managed to not glue anything down that shouldn't be glued. So that's great. So we've got the front on. That's lovely. Now, if you have time, you can clip here and make sure that it sets really well with gluing. If you can even leave things clipped overnight, it's amazing. They last forever, but I'm just doing a quick demo, so I won't bother with that. I'm going to do the same process with each of the drawers, and then we'll just glue the backs to the bottom here and then cut it out, and we're good to go. So let's do the next drawer. Put that back. See, for my next one, I think I'll use, the naval map. That'll be fun. Okay. So as always, it really doesn't matter which side you're gluing. Everything is symmetrical. It's nice and easy. Okay, so I'm just going to place this at the base, line it up, make sure it closes. Yep, looking good. One more time with the brayer to make it flat. Now let's make sure I haven't glued down anything accidentally. So far, so good. We're doing all right here, folks. All right, we're halfway through the drawers. See, it's a really quick, easy project once you get past that tricky little folding bit. All right, next drawer. Now the map of New York City. I'm gonna glue this. Now, if you're messy like me with the glue sticks, one thing that's really fun, so it won't dry out, is just leave your cap like this with the open bit up, and then after you've glued whatever you're going to glue, you can just pop it in easily without having to fuss around, and that just keeps it from drying out and saves time and hassle. Okay, we've got that there. Seems to close okay. If not, you can move it around just a little bit. All right, let's do some brayer rolling. Edge crease is nice. Lovely. All right. Look at that. And last drawer. Can you believe we're there already? Quick project. Okay. Here we go. This is the one with the little, I think, tree. Yeah. So I'll take that one. Bit of glue. Line it up with the center here. It flat, and I'll get another clean paper since everything at this point is already sticky. There we go. All right, now I've got the fronts all in. Oh, looks like I've somehow glued the back too. Interesting. Well, that just saved us some time. Not quite sure how that happened. Did I mention it's almost midnight here? Okay, so time for the backs, the rest of the backs. That one just took care of itself. Thank you so much. Okay. One more time, same thing in reverse. Let's do the second drawer. Now this part, you've already made gluey paper mess if you're me, so this is when I like to start folding my glue protector papers, just to make sure that I don't get glue on my project. Okay. Oh, and at this point also, if this one came out okay, but if you found that during that stage of the project, your inner drawers were kind of poking up over the top, this would be when you just snip them off. Okay. Here we go. Now, if you're feeling really confident and you know how to do double-sided printing, you can actually print some gorgeous marbled papers or patterns or whatever you like really on the back of all of this kit before you craft with it. And that way, every little piece of the accordions in the corners will also have patterns. But there's also a cheat way that we can do that. I'll tell you in just a second. Let's first just glue these down. Ooh, that one kind of took care of itself a little bit too. I'll just give them a little corner dab. It's funny how the glue just gets everywhere. There we go. All right. Okay. Everything's working. Nothing is stuck together. Good. And last drawer. Oh, that one took care of itself too. Look at that. Project that does itself. Isn't that fun? Okay. Now, if you want to plan ahead a little more, now that you know what we're doing, see here where the corners are white? Before we fold, this lines up perfectly. I've included an extra one of these drawer liners that you don't need. So you can actually cut your triangles out of it, glue them to the back of these triangles before you begin, and then you'll have really pretty accordion folds. All right, so everything is glued down and all we have left to do now is just cut out the actual shape. Very easy. So here we go. And as you can see, I'm very messy and don't mind a bit if I cut it unevenly. It's a vintage journal after all, so things are expected to be a bit worn and torn, beaten up. Quick and easy craft project. There we go. One more little white spot that I've forgotten. Beautiful. All right, and there you have it, your mini ephemera cabinet, complete with pockets. Now you can just start putting all of your little ephemera in there. Now I have a ton of these little mini mail envelopes. I've sent them to my mailing list, so a bunch of you have them already. If you don't yet, you'll be getting it in the coming weeks. So those fit perfectly in here. You can put all sorts of things in here, whatever you like. Got some fairy stuff. Little Alice envelope. There's all sorts of fun stuff you can do with this. All right. So you have your mail ephemera cabinet and you're ready to go. So if you're doing the Big Bite Challenge with us, your goal this week is to use any paper you like. You can use the printables from my site, linked below, or you can just find something in your stash. Create some sort of mini cabinet. With this technique, it can look any way you like. You can make it to your own theme and taste and fill it with something that you can use to decorate your journal later. And that is your challenge for this week, my friends. Now, if you want extra freebies like this one, you can go to the other link on my website, also below, and sign up to join my newsletter. I send out freebies pretty much once a week or every 2 weeks, but for the first week you sign up, I send out one almost daily, and they're really cool. So there's going to be something for everyone in there. All right, so we've got our cabinets, you've got your task, and if you do this project, I would love to see what you do. Feel free to tag me, Pegasus Paper Co. on Instagram or Facebook or however you want to find me. My links will be in the video. I would love to see what you do, and I'll probably share some favorites. So it's past midnight now, and I am going to put my little envelopes to sleep. Sweet dreams to all of you. Good night.